What the New York Knicks are willing to offer in a potential trade to bring Joel Embiid to the New York Knicks has been revealed. We're going to talk about it and ask the question, is it enough? We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Show on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, I just want to get into one topic today. Quick video today, not a long 30-minute video, but just a quick one today. Is that we now know what the Knicks are willing to offer for Joel Embiid. That has been released. And so they are apparently willing to include an offer that includes Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, Evan Fournier, Mitchell Robinson, along with 2 to 3 first-round picks to bring the MVP over, the former MVP, I should say, over to New York. Now, we know that the New York Knicks are always a franchise that is always going to be after and trying to bring a superstar to that franchise. They haven't really been able to do so in quite a long time. And in bringing in, in the rumors that Joel Embiid may become unhappy and in the hopes that he may become unhappy in Philly, it makes sense that the New York Knicks would be one of the teams at the forefront of that to try to bring in him to their franchise and to solidify, maybe give them a piece to build around. And so, while a team at that point that would still have Jalen Brunson, and you're adding Joel Embiid to that, would be a team that I personally like to see. The question is that would that be enough to entice the Philadelphia 76ers? Now, again, a lot would have to happen for that to even become the case, right? Now, keep in mind, in what it's been rumored that they'd be willing to send out, that would still mean that the New York Knicks, theoretically, in what we've heard, they would still have Josh Hart, they'd still have Jalen Brunson, they still have Wood Emmanuel quickly, still have Dante DiVincenzo, right? Those are players. Jericho Sims potentially still have him, but they would still have to do a lot more to kind of bring in that team if they really want to be a team that's truly going to make some noise in the East. And the biggest question in this all is that if Joel Embiid is even going to ask for a trade, is New York on his list of teams that he would be willing to go to? Yes, it's a big franchise, but it's a franchise that, for the most part, has struggled to really build a formidable team for years. Yes, they built fun teams, and I think this current New York Knicks team is another team that's going to win a lot of regular season games. But the biggest question is, would they then make the right moves? Is there enough trust in that franchise that they would make the necessary moves to build a championship contender around Joel Embiid? Now, one thing that we know, it's easier when you have a superstar there to bring in and try to recruit players to your team. And I think having a 1-2 punch of Jalen Brunson and Joel Embiid would potentially would be a solid enough there to try to build some things around there and try to entice some other players to come, right? And, whether you have players coming at the veteran minimum at that point to try to ring chase, whatever it is, it would definitely signal a newfound excitement around the New York Knicks, even more so than what they have right now. But there's so many questions around it. Right now, I think when you look at it, they can offer, when we talked about this before, when we talked about the New York Knicks potentially being one of the mystery teams at that point that were rumored to be interested in Dame Lillard, ended up going to the Milwaukee Bucks. But the New York Knicks have quite a bit of picks that they can offer in a deal to try to bring Joel Embiid to the team. They just do. They have the assets to be able to do it. The bigger question is, will they? And I think it really comes down to a couple of things, right? If he does request a trade, are the Knicks realistically on his list? Are they giving up so much that Joel Embiid can then see himself coming to the Knicks and not be kind of in a similar situation he is now? And then would the Philadelphia 76ers even be willing to do that? Now, it would signal a big change for the Philadelphia 76ers if they move on from Joel Embiid. They're not getting a star back of any level of talent to that. They would be signaling a rebuild of sorts, going right back to maybe trusting the process. Now, they would have quite a bit of picks. It's still some young, promising players in that. They aren't perfect. Julius Randle, not a perfect player. R.J. Barrett, not a perfect player. Player that has shown some things, but not a perfect player at all. Mitchell Robinson, same thing. A solid player in the right situations, scenarios, but those picks would be the biggest thing there that would probably entice the Philadelphia 76ers. And so with the Sixers, what are they going to be looking for in a potential Joel Embiid trade? Is he even going to be able to be moved? That's the biggest question. Now, I do think that the deal that we hear and the package that we hear that they're willing to offer is a decent one, right? Now, is any other team going to be willing to offer more? I'm sure the Miami Heat would try to get involved in it. Maybe not. I don't know if they have the assets to match with that. But they're going to be teams absolutely who try to make that move to bring in Joel Embiid. But I do think the Knicks have one of probably can offer the most. And keep in mind, yes, it says they're offered 2 or 3 first-round picks, but are they also going to offer pick swaps, which is something that we're seeing become valuable as well in the NBA. And so the New York Knicks having a number of picks that they can absolutely, try to offer in that, it brings a big question. And I know that a lot of people would say pairing the MVP, bringing them into New York, yes, the Big Apple, the Mecca, they're going to be able to bring players in, but we just haven't seen that happen. Now, they haven't had a player nearly the caliber of Joel Embiid, but those are some of the biggest questions remaining out there. Personally, I think it's a pretty solid deal. I don't think that maybe it gets done the way that they think, but I do think that that's a pretty solid offer that the New York Knicks are putting forth potentially. Again, this is all potential. This is all rumor. Nothing has officially happened yet. Joel Embiid hasn't even officially requested a trade. As far as we know, the Sixers aren't even shopping Joel Embiid or even entertaining any trade offers for Joel Embiid. But all it takes is things to go left in Philly, which is a high probability, especially with the James Harden nonsense going around, that maybe things change. And just like things change for Dame Lillard in Portland, maybe Joel Embiid is the next superstar to request out of his current team. But let me know what you guys think on all that down below. Do you think that Joel Embiid would even request a trade if things go left with the Knicks? Do you think it could happen as early as this season, this offseason? What do you guys think with that? And then do you think that the New York Knicks are putting forth a decent offer or a realistic offer that could bring Joel Embiid to the city of New York? Let me know what you guys think on all that down below. Make sure you guys are following the show at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything basketball related. And I'll see you guys the next time I feel like making a video. Probably tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.